All right, what's up, boys? I want to make a quick video covering what really made me profitable. I go over my model a lot in my previous videos, and I am pretty sick right now. If you can't hear my voice, I think I have strep throat. So I'm going to try to make this video fast and simple for you guys. So a lot of people ask me, I think I'm in the break-even phase. I think I'm unprofitable. How do I get to the point you are? How do I get to the point where I've generated, at least me, I've generated well over $350, nearly $400,000 in payouts. And people ask me all the time, what was that hurdle that you jumped over that actually turned you into a profitable trader, right? What was that switch you flipped that actually turned you into a profitable trader? There's no magic pill. There's no magic model. There's no magic route for you to follow that will make you profitable overnight. There's no such thing as the perfect path or perfect route to success as a trader. And I'm sick of seeing all these people say like, oh, this is the roadmap you have to follow. No, you have to understand everyone's journey is different in trading, and that's the beauty of it, right? You might fail for a year. You might fall on your face 1,000 times before you even pass your first eval, and that is part of a greater process. You have to understand that your journey is different from the next, right? Just because your friend turned profitable in 6 months doesn't mean you're going to be profitable in your first 3 years, right? You understand, you realize that God put you in this position for a reason. God gave you this vision for a reason. Every account you blow, every lose or every trade you lose, which losing a trade isn't even a bad thing. Some of you guys fail to understand that a losing trade is part of a winning system, right? But let's just put it this way. Every lesson you learn, every trade you lose, every account you blow, every setback in life is part of a greater vision that God has for you. And I am big on that. If you're not religious, then interpret it as you will, but I am very big on that every mistake, everything that you think is wrong happening in your life is really a lesson that God put there for you to grow and learn as a human being, right? It is so much more than just trading, and you need to take it as that, because if you don't have an open mentality to growing as a person, off the charts, you are never going to grow on the charts. If you're the same stubborn, unprofitable little kid on the charts and you are off the charts, you're never going to succeed in life. Even if you succeed in trading, one, you're still a little prick. You don't learn from your losses, right? Every loss in life is a lesson. There's always room to grow, and there's always room to become a better person. Now, enough yapping. What I actually turned into a profitable trader was becoming a good loser. As simple as that. As simple as that. I guarantee you, was I as good as technical analysis as I am today 2 years ago? No, I wasn't. But I guarantee you my strategy at the time would have been profitable if I didn't crash out every time I lose. If you have a 70% win rate with a 1 to 2 risk reward, you have an amazing system in front of you, but you ruin it when you take a loss and you go and full point your account because you can't handle the fact or acknowledge the fact that your system took a loss. Why is that? Why is that? Because when you take a loss, you automatically convince yourself you were wrong. You're automatically convincing yourself that you took that loss because you did something wrong, right? Whether you take that same setup tomorrow and it wins, what changes? What changes? Nothing. The inputs were the same, but the outputs obviously were a little different. One day it was a loss, one day it was a win, right? What matters is what you do with that output. Are you going to overreact, revenge trade, over leverage, and end up blowing your account? Or are you going to sit down, acknowledge the fact, hey, I gave the same input that I gave yesterday and it worked yesterday. I gave the same input that I've been putting in for the last 2 months of my life and I've been making $10,000 a month doing that, right? So stop focusing on the output of every trade and focus on consistent inputs. That is it. The more consistent your inputs are in life, the more successful your outputs will be. And I'm big on that. I am big on that, right? Inputs will always outcompete outputs. The outputs are irrelevant. The outputs are irrelevant, especially when it comes to trading. You can't fixate yourself on a dollar amount. You can't fixate yourself on the outcome of your trade. Fixate yourself on your entries. Do my entries make sense? Right? Did I enter this because I think price is going to go up? Did I enter this because I think price is going to go down? Or did I enter this because I want to pass my account today? Because I want to pay out today? Because if you're entering for the wrong reasons, you already lost. Even if that trade wins, you already lost because you are justifying poor inputs. Life is as simple as prioritizing your inputs and maximizing your outputs. Oh, easier said than done. Don't be an idiot. Stop being an idiot. Like, you understand the opportunities that are in front of you. You understand that trading is all about inputs, and you're still focused on the output, right? You understand that you have to follow your system. You understand you have to follow your rules. You understand your model, your system. Except when you take a loss, that's part of your system. You crash out and you blow your account and you blame it. Oh, I had a bad day. Oh, my model didn't play out today. Your model played out. It played out as a losing day, but that is part of a system that works in the greater, in the long run, right? Let's say in the greater good. That makes no sense, but you guys get what I'm trying to say, right? Every trade you take should be based on inputs, not on the outputs. If you are focused on the outputs, you already lost because you're justifying entering a trade for the wrong reason, right? When you enter a trade, can you justify your take profit, your stop loss, and your entry? If not all three of those boxes are checked, you're done. Like your trade is a wrong, invalid trade idea. Invalid trade idea. If you can't understand why your stop loss is where it is, why your entry is where it's at, and why your take profit is where it's at, you're not following your system. You're not following a proven system. If you're putting in take profit based on, I want to make $500, I want to make $1,000, you already lost. Those are poor inputs. Your take profit should not be based on a monetary value. Your take profit should be based on maybe a level of liquidity or a zone, whatever strategy you trade, because you guys, obviously everyone trades differently, right? If you don't trade the way I trade, then maybe your take profit is based off something else. But one thing I'm certain it should never be based off is a dollar amount. Your stop loss should never be based off a dollar amount. If you are putting a smaller stop loss because you don't want to lose more than X amount of money, you should not be risking that heavy on the trade. De-risk. Because again, you're focused on the output. If you're putting a small stop loss because, oh, I didn't want to lose more than $500 on this trade, all I'm hearing is you want to make more than $500 on that trade, right? Poor outputs. You are entering the trade because you want an output, right? What does that mean? That is a poor input. You are validating entering a trade for the wrong reasons. You are building bad habits. Building bad habits as a trader will set you back tenfold what building good habits will. Right? I promise you the hardest thing to do in trading is to remove a bad habit. I have fallen into that trap of building bad habits for years, and it's always taken me months to get out of. What are some bad habits? If you only trade AM session, you start trading Asia and London. I really recommend stick to one session, right? Bad habits can be entering multiple sessions when you usually don't. Bad habits can be revenge trading because maybe one day you revenge trade. Holy shit, bro, I took a loss and I just made $5,000 on a second trade. Like, I'm him, right? Try it again. Try it on a consistent basis. You are going to lose more money than you made that one day over the course of several weeks, right? So maybe one day you can justify revenge trading. You're like, oh, why don't I do this enough? I just made back the money I lost in my trade and I can get a payout now, right? Fast forward 2 months and you haven't gotten any payout since then because you started revenge trading every trade because you had one good fucking experience with it, right? And removing a bad habit from your trading, removing a bad habit from your life is 10 times harder than building any good habit. And you will understand that it's not as simple as just building a good habit. You have to first remove the bad habit and then build it as a good habit, right? Personally, it takes me 2 weeks to build a habit. It probably takes me 1 to 3 weeks to remove that bad habit, right? So all you're doing is setting yourself back as a trader, right? Acknowledge why are you entering a trade? Are you entering it because you're focused on the outputs? Or are you entering it because you have a consistent inputs that is proven to make you money over the course of a few months, over the course of a few years? And if you don't have backtested data on your model, on your system, I highly recommend you go into TradeZella, FX Replay. I know more trades just came out with Tradeful. So any of those, all great companies that you can backtest with. No, I'm not affiliated with any of them. I'm just naming the popular companies. So I highly recommend you guys go and backtest your model, your system. And you need to understand that you should focus on your inputs in trading and not on your outputs. When you're focused on your outputs, you're just giving in poor inputs. Therefore, you're going to get shit outputs, right? Focus on your inputs. Start ignoring the outputs, especially if the outputs have anything to do with money. If you're attaching yourself to a dollar amount in trading, building a bad habit, you're building a bad habit. If you're trading multiple sessions when you're not supposed to be, you're building a bad habit. If you're risking too much, you're building a bad habit. And sometimes these bad habits play out. They tend to work in your favor sometimes. And what happens? You justify it. You are justifying a poor input. Next thing you know, you're sitting in 3 months of drawdown because you couldn't have waited a few days to actually wait for your setup and wait for your model to present itself, right? So with that being, I hope you guys have a great fucking day. If you guys are interested in being mentored by me one-on-one, feel free to fill out the link in the bio. I will leave that for you guys there. And besides that, I hope you guys have a great fucking day, and I will see you boys tomorrow. Peace out.